got a butterfly flying in the background right there. Well, hello everyone. Welcome to a new video of mine. I have not done a video like this in a while. Let me tell you, a lot has changed. A lot. And quite frankly, there's no way I could show you everything. There's no way I could show you everything in this entire video because it would be hours long. But I do want to show you guys some of the new things. Before I do that, I actually want to talk a little bit about the history of this world because I never really did dive into the history of this world. And I've had so many people ask me on Reddit, like, how did this start? To do that, I got to show you the map. So I have the map here. And actually, if I just go here real fast, there it is. All right, so this area right here, I'm gonna have to be looking this way while you guys are probably looking at me, and I got my screen right here. So the current area that I'm actually in, right about there, that's the area that I'm in. So this general area is Octavian, which if you do follow me on Reddit, you probably know a little bit about Octavian. It is actually the largest city in my world, and it actually might have some chunk errors up here because this area is so highly detailed that sometimes my PC just doesn't want to load everything in. It's like, no, we're not doing that, Elijah. Okay, so this is Octavian. You know a little bit about Octavian. It's located right here. It's gotten huge. It's gotten massive, which is crazy because I don't even really update this area that much anymore. But since the last video, it's gotten ridiculously huge. And let's do time night real fast so you can see it all lit up. Very pretty. This Alexa sphere right here, this is what it's called. I still never did finish it. And load in. Please don't crash on me right now. I have two different versions of this world, Java and Bedrock. Right now I am playing on Bedrock RTX. I prefer it more play wise, but when I'm actually capturing my snapshots and pictures, the ones that you guys see on Reddit, I play on the Java version because on Java, I'm able to capture the really pretty fog and the pretty pretty atmosphere with the sun and the lighting, which, I mean, RTX has its own really pretty lighting too. So I can't, deny with it. And plus, the RTX, actually, when I'm capturing my really high fidelity shots for my like cyberpunk cities, I'm capturing it with RTX, not Java version. And the reason why is because RTX lighting wise, in terms of like, all this different lighting that you have here is so much better with Bedrock than it is on Java. It just is. So I like him for different reasons. Java for the atmosphere and Bedrock for the lighting pretty much, and just overall playing. So as of right now, as you can tell, it's really not loading right now. I really do have my chunk set really high, and I have that set for a reason because I want you guys to be able to see some of the mountains that I've worked on a pretty high chunk. In fact, if we do get to it, before it gets a little bit too late, I'll show you how big my mountains really are by going into my TXT files, changing that number to real high. Like, oh my gosh, I might just crash my PC because I'm not just rendering chunks now, I'm also recording. Anyways, so we can switch it to day now. So yeah, this is, oh my gosh, there's so much not loading right now. PC's like, what's wrong with you? So I want to talk a little bit about the history of my world before we just go in and I show you all my new things that I've had in here in the last couple years. It is my 12th anniversary. I forgot to mention that in the beginning of the video, but it is my 12-year anniversary. All right, so if we come look at this, if you look at this outer chunk area that we have, like, it's really hard to it's kind of hard to see on that. But kind of where Octavian is, and you see Harley up there, as well as Rosewood right here. I gotta move this right next to me. So if you look at these areas right here, this is actually, everything that you see right here is PlayStation 3 generated chunks from like the classic PlayStation 3 edition. When I started this world, it was back in 2014. It was just me and my brother, Ammon, where we were just playing. And we started building this city. Quite the history, let me tell you. We've had people that played online, set trap hooks everywhere here, and blew up parts of the city. And it was pretty crazy. In fact, some of the remnants of those areas are still here. But because we just kind of left them be. We were like, oh, we don't need to really update them. It's kind of cool to have that kind of history, even though I will never forgive them for what they did. So yeah, so this whole area, this was PlayStation 3. It was the PlayStation 3 Classic, when the world was literally nothing but 864 x 864 block wide canvas. That's all it was. That's literally, like, if you see my dot right here, place red dot there, from there all the way down to like right here, generally this specific area. That's all it was. There was nothing else after that. It was just void, you know, at the time. And then from PlayStation 3, that was 2014, 2015, and 2016 was mostly just building on this world. I believe it would have been late 2016, maybe mid 2016, somewhere around there. I don't know, it was a long time ago, but that's when the world then went from this PlayStation 3 to PlayStation 4, which at the time was actually pretty crazy because I did not think that I actually had this world. My PlayStation 3 had gotten corrupted, like it got ruined, and so I thought I lost this world forever, and I actually started a new world on PlayStation 4, but there was this magical button at the time that Mojang had released that was like, upload your PS3 saves. And I'm like, there's no way I actually did that, because I don't remember doing that, but I clicked on it, and voila, here it is, it's back. So I was able to go from PlayStation 3 to PlayStation 4 from there. And from that point on, then you saw this entire, so we take the canvas out, you can see this really big like chunk. Like you see this whole, hold on, I don't know if you could hear me. You see this whole area down here where we have like this really abrupt line between the black and the blue ocean right here, and then it comes all the way over. You can kind of see the outline of the square. This area really needs updating. This whole area actually really needs updating right here. Come up here, you can kind of see that chunk right here, way up here over towards Rosalia, which is just barely underneath the border of that. And then the chunk comes down, and I actually did a lot of terrain editing right here on this area, but you can kind of see it with the light blue and the dark blue right here. That chunk comes all the way down. That was the PlayStation 4 area of this world. It was, at that point, that's all it was. Anything beyond those borders was just ocean. So I don't know if you have played the PlayStation 4 Minecraft PlayStation worlds, but it was all void. It was just water. There was nothing beyond that. So at the time when I started cities like Rosalia, this would have been 2018, it would have been like beyond that point, just water. And we started building cities around that point. I had me and a couple of friends at that time in my life building areas like Rosalia. I started building Claxican, which is way down here, if you can kind of see it. And then Zalix and all these other cities that ended up becoming districts, basically, for Octavian, which was the biggest city in the world at the time. And it's still not loading these chunks. Of course it's not. At that point, that's all this world was. There was nothing more to that. There was no massive mountain ranges. There was no massive deserts or huge oceans or capital cities like Harlow and La Morley and Prunelle, etc., etc. Like none of those things existed at that point. So from 2018 to 2019, I think it was the end of 2019, December of 2019. If I look it up, I could probably find it. But end of 2019 is when the world on PlayStation, which at this point, I was still on the PlayStation 4. PS5 did not come out until 2020. But at this point, December of 2019, they had upgraded the worlds for PlayStation to Bedrock. Everything was just at Bedrock at that point. Like PlayStation, Xbox, everything went to Bedrock. So from that point on, places like above this was, which was all, sorry, right here, hello, was just all ocean at the time, is now, it was now, you know, terrain that you could generate. Now, it gets a little complicated from that point on because this whole area, right, like such as these areas right here, this is all generated terrain, and I believe it would have been, I'm not sure the exact version, but it was the one that was right after, whatever version came right after PlayStation then went to Bedrock. The PlayStation Classic Worlds went to Bedrock. And that was this area. That was all generated terrain at that point. And then I had cities like Reno and Tahoe at that area. And then these areas, if you go a little bit further west over towards the coast, this is Jesla country. So if you look at Rosalia, the border where that light blue and that dark blue is right there, right above that is pretty much all of Jesla country. So everything up there is all these massive mountains that you see. That's terrain that I sculpted, that I spent years and years and years putting together. Literally by part, I used a program called World Painter. Beautiful and amazing program, but it took so long because I would do them by parts. I would say like maybe 1,000 by 1,000 block canvas, or maybe even a 3,000 by 3,000 block canvas. But because programs like Amulet, which I also use to put into my world, they can't really copy that much chunks. It takes hours. So I literally had to, like, if you look at some of these mountains, especially the mountains up here in the Alyeska range, these areas where my really complex fjords are, I put probably countless hours and days just putting the landscape into the world. That's, not even sculpting the landscape through in World Painter. And I do have tutorials on how I do some of my landscapes. So if you want to see that, you can actually go onto my Patreon, and I have videos on there, tutorials on kind of how I do my mountains and things like that. But that's a whole separate video. Anyway, so some of the new areas that I've done in the last couple of years include fjords like this. This is called the La Baie d'Elie Fjord. And then I've got Mountain Oracker here, which that mountain took forever to put into my world. Let me tell you, it's 1,000 block high, 1,024 block high, from negative 512 blocks all the way up to 512 blocks. It's total about 1,024 blocks mountain. And it's surrounded in this massive glacial basin right here. So it's all based off of Denali in Alaska when I went to go film my indie film, record my indie film, Harlow. So a lot of that area is kind of inspired by that general area. And then I got my Tidewater Glaciers here, my Lullaby Fjord, and then, we can show those areas a little bit later in the video. But anyways, that's a little bit of the history. Obviously, there's so much more. I could go in to the history of Octavian, to the history of Harlow, and Rosalia, and Claxcanal, and Morley. Like, there's so many different time frames in my life, and so many different more history I can expand on those areas. But honestly, for the sake of this video, we're just going to go straight in, and we're going to show you some of the new things that I've done recently, because I've had people that have reached out to me on Reddit and it's like, I need you to do a video, like, you need to showcase some of your new landscapes and stuff. So I'm like, yeah, I can do that. So the first area that we're going to go to, I'm right here on OBS Studio as of the moment. The first area, that's because it's immersion. So let me minimize this for a second. If we go over to my actual map, this is showcasing the current version of my world. I have these mountain ranges that extend way far south right there. These are the Serra d'Or Mountains. But I have another city that I'm working on way down here. It's nowhere near done, but I just kind of started working on a little bit on that area, and it's called La Eulalia, and it's Catalan. It's based off of Barcelona. I don't know a lot of the history of that area, so don't judge me all the way, because I wanted to be inspired off of that area, but I've never actually been to Barcelona. Most of my stuff is inspired off of the Pacific Northwest, from Oregon to Alaska, because that is where I'm from. So I have a lot of my mountains are literally based off of those areas. These mountains are very different than those. And so, I'm trying to just kind of learn a little bit and do something a little bit different, because I want my world to be very diverse. It's not exactly what I'm known for when it comes to my landscapes. But I did post a recent picture of this area on Reddit, and it did pretty well. So I'm like, okay, I could probably work on it more. But anyways, we can go here first. So if we actually I think the area that I posted on Reddit was this area right here. So we will copy this location and go straight to it. But before, I don't have my render distance all the way high up, so you probably won't see exactly what that picture has shown. But if we load in right here, I got a bird flying right there. Yeah, you can kind of see that this was that picture. And obviously the mountains, if I have my render distance all the way up, you can see the mountains way back there, but they look like this. And it's just, this entire area is a desert. And most of this actually specific area is inspired off of areas down in the Southwest, like I think parts of, especially Death Valley around California, and maybe southern Utah, there's like literally no foliage, and you have this very arid, just desolate like landscape. And I thought that would have been cool. I was like, okay, let's do something a little bit different. Let's do that. This road right here, which I do not have the rails on yet, I started it, but not completely finished, is the only road. It's the only road in my entire world that goes from like the areas where all my cities are up here, like Octavian's here, Lamorley's here, Ruby is here. It's the only road. You can see it right here. It's coming down from Ruby right here, and it goes through a canyon right here, down over towards some of the mountains here, and then it goes over 2,000 blocks of a very flat basin, like just nothing. Nothing for thousands of blocks until you get down to the mountains here, and then finally got some mountains, but it's still over thousands and even more thousands and thousands of blocks all the way down to Leeulalaya when the scenery finally starts to transition into a more Mediterranean-like climate. And so this is the only road that I have that actually comes down to this area of the world that I'm going to start working on, I think in later versions, where I want to have kind of a little bit of Italy and even go a little bit more wild and do some of East Asia, maybe even further south down this area, and just do something that's very, very different, you know? So this will be a whole new section of my world that's kind of completely cut off and isolated from all of this section up here. It's kind of like over in northern Jesla country, how this area is very kind of isolated as well. Anyway, so right now we're in Kavar country, which is just south of the border. We're right down here, which is just south of the border of Vala country, which is up here. Anyways, so that's this area. And these landscapes I designed on World Painter. And like I said, World Painter is incredible. I use it a ton. There's 3 or 4 different programs that I use a lot. World Painter, World Edit, which is actually an in-game thing. That's this right here. I think I've shown this in certain videos, but this is how I build really fast. You know, I can come here, select these areas, say I want to copy this. You know, I'm just showing randomly, paste, and then, you know, there it is. Things like that. And when I did this road, that's actually kind of what I did. I did not build this road block by block. If I built this road block by block, which would have been over 10,000 blocks, it would have taken me forever. So I did it with World Edit. A lot of the in-game builds that I'm doing nowadays are with World Edit. And then I also use Amulet. Amulet is kind of what I use it now to copy my massive mountains and paste into my world. Because World Painter is a Java program, it's not Bedrock, I'm having to basically convert those canvases when I'm done with them to Bedrock and then use World Painter, Amulet to put into my Skypixel world. I do have, like I said, a Skypixel Java version as well, but my default version is Bedrock. That's what I play on mostly. So I know some creators are like, well, that's a lot of extra work. Why would you do that? I'm like, well, because I like RTX. I really do. I just love the ray tracing. Until Java has RTX, which I don't know if it ever will. But if it does, then I'll probably shift over to Java and just have that as my permanent version. And then I also use Blockbench. Not a whole lot, but Blockbench is pretty cool. You can create your own mobs. You can create literally anything, honestly, on there. And what's very funny is a couple years ago, maybe 2.5, 3 years ago, I designed fall foliage. So I had like orange leaves and red leaves and things like that. I designed it on Blockbench. And now they have this forest that's coming out called the Dappled Forest. I think it's releasing in October. Which is so funny because I'm like, well, I already kind of did my own thing with that years ago. They're not... What was that sound? That's really weird. They're not enabled right now. Of course they're not. These blocks that you see, they're just glowing. They're resource packs I don't have enabled right now. But anyways, these right here, these blocks are actually, if I enabled the resource pack, they are Spanish moss that I had actually designed. And that happened with not just my Lamorley themed builds, but also with the fall foliage themed stuff, which I also don't think I have those packs enabled right now. Anyways, this is Lamorley, my south capital city. I think I've showed the city before, so we don't really need to explore the city a whole lot more. Gosh, But you know what? Let's go over towards my mountainous glaciers, because a lot of people would like to see some of those areas too. The Alyeska range, I don't think I've ever shown this area, so I will come to that specific area. Now, this is an area that you really have to see with high render distance to really concept the size of it. So what I'm going to do is first I'm going to teleport there by going here and all the way up to this area, and then I'm actually going to go in fact, I'll probably show you this glacier area first because I really, really like this area. And then I will show you, after I teleport there, you won't be able to see a whole lot because, again, my render distance is low. I'm going to increase my render distance right now. Someone's calling me. End. In the middle of a video right now. Getting calls left and right. Okay, so I'm going to exit this out real fast, like I said, and I'm going to go into my TXT file. I don't know if people know how to do this. I think serious creators obviously do. But if we go here, and I can actually come in here and say, take that out for a second. If we come into my options.txt, which I have over on my desktop, do ray, go down to ray tracing, because you can't do this in-game. In-game, they only lock you to about 24 chunks. Right now I have set it to 38. They lock it because it's like, your system can't really handle this, you know? But we're gonna get it up to like, oh, praise the Lord. This is gonna be bad. We'll do 72 chunks. This is not gonna be good. Let's see if it'll load in, because this area is gorgeous if it actually loads in. And as of right now, it is not loading in. Come on, come on, let's go. That's okay, I can always, you know, cut this part of the video. Flash forward. So these are my mountains. These are with the RTX enabled, and now it's loading in like crazy. Like, what the heck? It's just like, didn't want to before, and now all of a sudden it's like, okay, we'll load in for you. Here it goes. So this is a glacier that I did. I designed this in World Painter. Got these really huge, as you can tell, just massive mountains here, everywhere. Walking along this whole area would be a nightmare, especially with survival. I'm trying to get out of some of these areas. I think the crevasses up there are like hundreds of blocks deep, so you don't want to fall in those areas. All right, so yeah, I just wanted to show this specific area, but you know what? I'll also show you another really cool area. This is in fact probably the most insane area in my world in terms of vertical relief. It is absolutely insane. And that's the Sokon Glacier right here, just south of Mount Noraker, which is also an insane area. Like I said, this is a 1,000-block high mountain. These mountains that you're seeing right here, they're big. They're up to about 512 blocks, but they don't have the incredible vertical base to relief that you will see right here in a second if it even loads in, which I just do not know if it will. So, see that? Negative 509 blocks down. Like I said, I'm in a glacial basin here. That's like so insane. But anyways, these mountains right here, they are incredibly tall if it will load in, which I just do not know if it will load everything in, honestly. I don't even think 72 chunks will be able to load in the very top of the mountain. Maybe half of it. But as you can tell, yeah, it's still going up, and it will still continue going up. So this is, come on, load in. You can already tell, like this, okay, this mountain right here, that's, we go here, that's just this right here. That's not even the peaks right here. So like I said, it's huge. These are the mountains that took me ages, absolutely forever to get into this world, and let alone to design. This is the Sokon Glacier, which goes all the way up, and it wraps around this mountain right here to this side, and it's not wanting to load everything in. But we can continue, we can go up. Maybe it'll start to load in if we go up on this. But like I said, this area is inspired off of the glacial amphitheaters of Denali around the Alaska range. I chartered a small little flight in there so that I could capture some scenes for my indie film. Come on, load in. And those glaciers in there, they literally, they kind of look like this, no joke. They're just absolutely like thousands of feet high of just massive like ice fields everywhere. And they look like frozen waterfalls, you know? This is, yeah, as you can tell, my game's glitching out like crazy. It's like, well, what are you doing? Yeah, so like I said, it's not really playable like this. And when you have these high render distances, but when you are on with 24 chunks, it's fine, you know, or even 38 chunks, I think is probably fine too in this specific area. Like, it depends on the area of the world too, really. But yeah, you can't really play with the high render distance. I'd show you Mount Noraka right now, which is, you know, the very tall mountain, but I can't even load this in, let alone loading in Noraka. But this is, yeah, it's, my system's going crazy right now, bro. All right, well, let's go to a different area of my world, because this area doesn't seem to want to load everything in. Let's go to one more area in this general area. Let's go to the Jessica Glacier, which is one of the largest tidewater glaciers in my world. It's located right, load in, come on, right here. This area is really cool. All right, here we go. So this is loading in a lot more. Thank goodness. This is the Jessica Glacier. Like I said, it's just a massive landmass of ice. This is what's known as a tidewater glacier because it terminates at sea. If you go to Alaska, you'll quickly know what that is. Or any, like Norway perhaps probably has them too, I'm sure. Greenland, Iceland, you know, Patagonia. Anyways, load. There it is. Anyways, you can tell it's massive. It's huge. When we start getting to more of my temperate rainforest-like climates here, these mountains here, over here. This is the Lullaby Fjord, if it'll load this in. There's lots of these glaciers all over on this fjord, honestly. I could spend hours just showing you them all, but we're not gonna do that. We're gonna go to different areas now because Harlow's right here. Elowa is right here. It's a relatively new city that me and my cousin Ellie have kind of been building at times. In fact, she helped me build this tower here. I guess we'll go here. Called the Wiska Watchtower. So Elowa is like the northernmost major city in my world before you get to like the really wild, like, you know, North Coast mountains and glaciers. This is the city of Elowa. It is named after Elowa Falls, which is on the Columbia River Gorge in Oregon. And it's one of my favorite Pacific Northwest waterfalls, and I just love the term. So I'm like, I love that term so much. So yeah, that's why it's called Elowa. But yeah, all of my cities kind of have like a meaning behind its name, you know? All of them. Lamorley, Octavian even has one, Harlow, Rosalia, Claxakin, Tahola, Reno. I can go on and on and on and just talk about the history of all of just the different names in the world. But anyway, so that's what Elowa is named after. This city, like I said, there's some developing areas. It's new, so nothing. This city is definitely not done, but it's really pretty. It's one of my favorite cities in this world. This is my cousin Porter's house that I've been working on, and then my cousin Ellie's house right there, and then Mount Cambry, which is a really tall mountain. It's about, I think, 450 blocks high, and I'm planning on designing a ski resort up here. But it just goes up, and there's a glacier up there too. Not like the big, massive tidewater glaciers you see further north, but there are definitely glaciers on these isolated peaks down further south here. Tons of different trails that I've made around this area is really cool, and yeah, this whole area is just really, it's gorgeous. It's one of my favorites, especially when I'm playing on Java with the fog enabled, and the fog is just kind of like going through the valleys and the mountains. Just really pretty. Very Pacific Northwest, you know, very, very PNW. In fact, this city is actually based off of Vancouver, British Columbia. Harlow is also loosely based off of Vancouver, BC as well. Rosalia is kind of based off of Seattle, and then Nolan's kind of based off of Portland. So this city, some interesting facts is I got the biggest hospital, I think, in my world so far, which is right here and here. And they're all furnitured and everything. They have furniture in here. different levels and floors, and it's just really, really cool. So it's a hospital there. We got my road routes here. This road route is kind of crazy because this is a very hilly city. As you can see, there's a lot of, you know, different elevation in this area. So designing some of the buildings here has kind of been a nightmare. I've definitely had to use World Edit for it because doing this all block by block would have been, like I said, a nightmare. But really cool. Got the hospital, Elawa Port, Sitcon Square, Salmon Inlet. This is kind of like the square up here. Some of the blocks in my resource packs are not enabled, but that is a resource pack right there. This is a really cool building right here. You just kind of see all the different flowers that I have right here. And me and my cousin Ellie, we've done a couple of different little things. Like she and I were actually building. I can show you right here in this video right now. We are building a little cabin, snowy cabin near Harlow, but yeah, she wanted like this pink, very, very pink cherry blossom themed cabin in the middle of an evergreen forest, which actually ended up turning out pretty cute. I'm not gonna lie, but yeah. So, and then me and my sister have been building. Oh, I think I showed you in another video my NFL themed stadiums. And I can show you in this video real fast right here, but we have several different stadiums in this world with wikis and everything, lore behind it. And each capital city has like a theme. Like Octavian has the Night Ravens, and Harlow has the Grizzlies, and Lamorley has the Gators. And I just love it. I love playing with my family on here and just building and contributing to this world because there's so much. There's just absolutely, like I said, there's so much. It's 12 years, you know, it's 12 years of just friends and family and people that I don't even see anymore. Like when I was in Arizona, I had friends that helped contribute to this world too, back when it was on PlayStation 3. And I don't even see those people anymore, you know, because I'm not there anymore. So it's just like, it's just crazy how massive this world has gone. A lot of people think, oh, it was just you that built it. And that's not entirely true. I had lots of friends that helped contribute to this world as well. But, I mean, I am the primary sole builder, especially now. Especially with my big mountains, I'm the only one that's doing the world painting and everything. But I have friends, even from Europe, and parts of Canada and Australia that come on here every once in a while and build. Like, I had a friend from Europe who helped design my Louvre, and that was in my city Prunelle, which is based off of Paris. You know, and I had a couple of friends from Australia that helped me build some of my Australian themed builds as well. Like, you know, it's just crazy where this world has gotten. I would have never expected in a million years where it's gotten, and now it's out there for anyone to just download and play. You know, I want people to be able to experience it and see some of the history, because the more you explore this world, the more history you'll come across. There's lots. I did show this area. No, this is the Louvre here, and this is the Hydro Stadium. It's like that castle themed. I'll just show you a couple pictures right here and videos. Instead, let me show you an area that I don't think I've actually really shown at all, and it's very underrated. I was building a castle, like Harry Potter themed castle, nowhere near done at all, but it's very cool. And man, I wish I had my render distance all the way up too, because this area with the mountains around it is so pretty. But gosh dang it, I don't want to exit out of the game now and go back in. So we'll just go to this area, and you can see some of the castle I've been designing, and I'll show you some pictures so you can kind of see with the mountains around just kind of what it looks like. But this area is very, very cool. I've been having so much fun designing it, but you can kind of see, I mean, obviously it's not all spawned in, but these are the mountains here. They're based off the Scottish Highlands, and this area in my world is called the Loddish Mountains. And yeah, so the inside of the castle is not done. It's completely unfurnished right now. In fact, I think this is probably what I'll focus on in my next video. But I did have, like, you know, I'll actually start designing and putting things in here and start adding furniture and stuff and do the walls different. Like, I love this castle. It's so cool. But I think that also I have a video on my Patreon where I'm showing you how I kind of designed this area. As you can tell, it's definitely not done yet. Anyways, it's such a cool area. I love this castle. And with the fog enabled, it's even prettier. Oh my gosh, it's so cool. It's so cool. Man, I could just go on and on and on, honestly. There's no end to it. Anyways, you know, so that was a little bit of the history of the world. So it started on PlayStation 3, it's now on PC, it's gotten crazy big. If you watched this entire video, which thank you so much if you did, because, like, it's a long video of just me talking pretty much, not building. I hope you enjoyed this video, and please leave a like and subscribe. Yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Bye!